WBET 1460. Welcome to Conversations with Marion Roble.
No road to go is ever far from you, lover. No place to get is ever far away. Though I wandered far from you, my heart remains so true, and I will be your love forever, love to stay. I have seen these far off lands, far from you, lover, and I miss your soft white hands. Yes, I do, love. Should I wander throughout time, I miss those lips that taste like wine. For no other's lips will kiss these lips of mine. Walk soft through the field, oh green, lush and pure, by the willow where I told you I'm sure, I am sure of your love, I am sure of your heart, I am sure I'll return when we part. Go down to the village and call out my name, and I'll be there beside you again. For no road to go is ever far from you, lover. The journey's end is never far away. Though I wandered far from you, my heart remains so true, and I will be your love forever, love to stay. And I will be your love forever, love to stay.
Well, a happy St. Patrick's Day to y'all. As you can see, we're continuing with the Irish celebration that Bill and Jim started today, and I'm very happy to be able to do that with a local gentleman, local now, living in Brockton, but he was born in Cork City, and I know all of you of Irish descent and all of you who enjoy Irish entertainment will know the name of Alfie O'Shea. Thank you for being with us this morning, and top of the morning.
And top of the morning to you.
Well, it's still morning,
yeah,
yes.
Top of the morning to you, Marion. Thanks very much for having me on your show.
My pleasure.
And happy Paddy's Day to you.
What is the rest of that phrase? I was trying to remember ever since they said that. There's a response to that. Is it in the rest of the day to you?
And
or
the rest of the day to you, yeah.
Okay, I had to stop and think about that. It's a very special time for you. You're extremely busy right now, especially, although Irish entertainment is popular all year round. I know you're busy all year long, aren't you?
Yeah, we are, yeah. I just, we just do mostly in the South Shore, Metro South.
Mm-hmm.
We do down the Cape. We play on weekends.
Oh, the Cape has got it all year round. Are
Oh.
you? Which place are we at the Cape to?
The Irish Cottage, or
Okay.
the Irish Village.
The Irish
and
Village.
The Irish Embassy pub down in Falmouth.
Okay.
We play down there.
Both
every
places have
weekend.
been there for a long time now.
They have, yeah.
Yes.
There was another pub that used to be over there. I think it was the Irish Century Pub.
Uh-huh.
That closed down for a while, but now I think it's reopened again in Falmouth on Route 28.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How long since you've been in Ireland? How long since you came over here to live, anyway?
I came over here in '85, Marion.
Okay, not so long.
Yeah, no, not really.
What prompted you to decide? I bet you were traveling back and forth to entertain before that, were you? Or to
Well,
visit?
really, yeah. What happened was, we had a group at home, really, and I was in the sales business, and then we had a family pub,
Mm-hmm.
which was the lease. At home you can lease pubs
Ah.
with options to buy, and we had a family pub because I used to always travel. Like I always
Mm-hmm.
like traveling. I lived in London for a few years, and then we done a tour. Every year we used to do a tour to Spain and Greece.
Oh, and Irish
And
music's
yeah,
popular in all those places.
Yeah, but funny enough, it's amazing. Most Irish entertainers love all of course, the folk and country and western, rock and roll. So, I mean, some people say, if we do a show, like we would do probably 67% of Irish, but then we
And
would
then
bring
mix in other things.
country and western, folk.
Really a close match there.
Very close.
Because of the folk
Yeah.
influence, as you say. Our country
they're
music is our folk.
They're
and of course-
sisters,
yeah.
really. Very
Even
close.
to the mood and the sentiment. Now, we opened with an original song of you singing. It was written by a friend of yours, you were telling me. The
That's
song we
right,
just
yeah.
played.
Eddie Dillon Rose.
Lovely.
Eddie is a very big entertainer. He's in the Metro South for the last 15, 20 years. He's originally started a group called the Shenanigans. A very popular group, came out with a couple of good albums. Then he he used to back Tommy Makem down in New York when he used to come over. He's a fantastic musician, plays all the instruments. Then he went with a group called the Aliens. It came over from Ireland, and they were very, very big in the Boston area. And they used to capture all the young Irish.
Do they play Irish or
Yeah.
a lot more modern?
Well, kind of a
New world
Celtic
Irish.
rock, American rock. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Irish American rock.
Irish-American rock.
Yeah, and it was it was the young emigration of Ireland coming over really followed it, and then the young Americans, that really liked it as well. So they were getting a fantastic response. But the lead singer. Peter Keane was a Clare man, came over the same time as I did in '85. We used to play together up in the Irish Embassy pub. Played around.
You
and,
find each other, don't you?
Pardon?
Especially if you're in the entertainment world from Ireland, you find each other.
Oh,
all your
all around. It's amazing, really.
Yes.
It's amazing. And he, actual fact, Peter was a young lad. He came over here, but he's had a little lassie back in Clare.
So that would draw him back. you know,
Yeah, so
frequently.
he went back and the band broke up, and we used to play around and Eddie, then I asked Eddie one night would he fall in with us down up one Saturday night in the Irish Embassy, and he fell in, and we both kind of hit it together, and we formed a new band. We have a show band now, 4 or 5 piece.
What's your band called now?
It's called the Alfie O'Shea and Eddie
It's
did
just
an Irish show band.
with the names.
Yeah, with the
How
names.
lovely.
Yeah.
And that's just been recorded too, you say?
That's all, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, of course my main job is I work for WB Mason Company, which is a local
You have to say that because
company.
they're listening this morning. Hello to WB Mason. They let you out long enough to come and visit us, so we best say hello to them.
Great.
That keeps you very busy full
Oh,
time.
yeah, fantastic
Yes.
company. I joined WB Mason 2 years ago, believe it or not, on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. So they all became Irish instantly when you arrived on St. Patrick's
It was,
Day.
yeah, I think it was very lucky for me because, Mason's such a fantastic, has been around for
years, generations,
90s
literally,
and
right?
90s, yeah,
Literally
fantastic company. I
generations.
love working there.
I met the gentleman who runs it now at a Christmas party. We were mentioning, you said his name, Bob Green. Is it Bob?
Steve Green's the
Green, I'm
president,
sorry.
yeah, of
the
the,
president now, and he was telling us how he listens to the station and the show. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Before we get involved in people maybe calling for other reasons, I want to let you know that Alfie has volunteered to make that record that we just heard available. Is that a single or on a
No, it's on a tape, yeah. We brought
like a
it
full
on.
album on a tape?
Yeah.
Okay, with many other things with it?
Eddie had that song written for a while, and he was waiting for the right person with the right voice. And he
And
asked
you were
me
it?
one night. Well, it came out. and
Lovely voice you have.
He asked me, would I try it out? We went down to the studio. Arc Albums recorded it, and when he gave me the song first, I fell in love with it. I went home and played it on the guitar for a while, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "I love it." I really love it.
It's a very soft.
It is.
It's the sentimental, emotional side.
Well, yeah, the theme of the
Irish.
song is really, it's about a young lad, was going with a lassie back home, and he was a great traveller, always travelled, and she was afraid that, she would lose him while he was travelling. And in the song, he tells her that he's so sure. He said, "Remember when I told you I was sure of your love down." And, it's a very song.
Very sweet.
Yeah,
The Irish are either very patriotic, very energetic, or very
sentimental.
sweet and romantic and energetic. But Alfie's made that available, and since this is St. Patrick's Day, and it's a lucky day for all of us. If we all wear green, we can all be Irish today. So lucky 7, the 7th phone call to come through at 586-1460 will be the winner of that tape, including that beautiful song and all the other beautiful things that Alfie's brought in along as a happy St. Patrick's Day present to you. So caller number 7, 586-1460. The Times, the music offers so many different things over the course of years. Now, you mentioned that there's something brand new. We're accustomed here to listening when Jim does his show and all the other Irish shows we know about with some of the old songs that have been around for generations, maybe some of the ones that our mothers or grandmothers, if there's an Irish background, sang to them. And there's a lot of emotion involved in that.
There
It's
is.
a very strong pull.
It's amazing, really. A lot of the Irish songs, if you really kind of listen to them, it's like it's the same
It's
as poetry.
Yes, it
You know what I mean? There's a meaning
really
to
is.
every song, and it's the jolly ones, the wild rovers, the wild
The drinking
Canonian
songs
boys,
and
the
all
drinking
the-
song. Yeah, there's a story behind every song, really, and it's good, and it's amazing. I mean, the Irish, this group now called U2 is rated now as number 1 in the world as the rock group. And I
That's
mean,
right.
with the country and western coming back, and a lot of folk, the rock and roll was slightly, losing a percentage of it. So, U2 came out with some, their original stuff, and they've got a great, their music
it's
is
blending,
different.
it's evolving, isn't it? It keeps on changing. You take a bit of the rock and a bit of the country
is, yeah.
and a bit of something else, and you have a whole new creature, really, but with a
And
special appeal.
They've been around for years, and they've really hit us with their last couple of tapes. They made it very big. I saw them back in Foxborough a few years ago, and they had a sellout there. They're playing in the Boston Garden tonight.
Oh, is it tonight?
Yeah,
Yes.
I heard during the week that the scalpers are selling the tickets for $1,000
Oh,
a ticket.
that
yeah.
says quite a bit about
They had
them.
a
And they're
five-
getting it, I guess, or they wouldn't be selling it. For
Yeah,
that.
one of the lads in Masons told me that he heard this morning that there was 500 tickets they kept back, and they were selling them this morning. But of course, they probably just went and
Oh, yes.
you know what I mean.
I imagine somebody sleeping on the sidewalk last week in order to, last night up to this morning in order to be first in line to get there.
Oh, they were playing in Worcester as well, and there was a sellout there in Rhode Island.
My son just saw them down in Virginia somewhere. My son lives down there, and he mentioned last week that he had gone to see them on Saturday night at a concert somewhere in the Norfolk, Virginia area. I didn't ask where exactly,
Yeah,
but
they're
they've been
doing 30 their tours, or it's 30 tours, yeah.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
places.
it's a lot, yeah.
Did they make their home here now, too? Or are they still back in Ireland?
Well, funny enough, Bono lives in Dublin,
Uh-huh.
but of course with so much travelling they do, but,
When he's home, he lives in Dublin, which isn't very much.
That's where they come from. Yeah.
Congratulations to Terry McIntosh of Brockton, who is the winner of the album, the tape. It is an album, but it's on a cassette tape that Alfie O'Shea brought in for us this morning, and we'll make arrangements for you to be able to pick that up. Terry McIntosh of Brockton. And if any else would like to call in and speak with Alfie or comment on St. Patrick's Day or your celebrations or your memories of Irish music, you're welcome. 586-1460 to join us this morning. I said the other day when John McNally was talking to us that there's something very special about the Irish love of music, and we'll talk about that when we come back from our first break.
Dunk the rest. Supreme's the best. That's what you'll say after just one visit to Supreme Coffee and Donuts in Brockton and Stoughton. This week, try Supreme's 99-cent super special. One freshly baked hand-cut donut, orange juice, and small coffee for only 99 cents.
Dunk the rest. Supreme's the best.
That's right. The Supreme Super Special donut, orange juice, and small coffee just 99 cents. Only at Supreme Coffee and Donut, 1284 Main Street and 784 North Main Street, Brockton, and Route 27 Stoughton. And coming soon, another Supreme on Route 27 Brockton across from Christo's.
Dunk the rest. Supreme's the best.
Supreme Coffee and Donuts accepts coupons from Dunkin' Donuts and all other competitors.
you out. Is the winter weather getting you down? You need to get away. The Holiday Inn in Brockton presents the Get Away From It All weekend. You get a luxurious king-size room, a complimentary dinner, and delicious breakfast for two. Free satellite movie in your room. Shopping mall discount coupons. Free hors d'oeuvres in the lounge and use of the indoor pool. Exercise room, sauna, and whirlpool. All of this for just $69, including tax and tip for 2 days and 1 night. And if you'd like to stay a second night, the total cost is just $99. That includes a second complimentary breakfast for two, plus free admission for two to the Westgate Cinema. 2 days and 1 night for $69, 2 nights for just $99. Advance reservations are required for Holiday Inn's Get Away From It All weekend. So give them a call at area code 508-588-6300. The Holiday Inn Brockton, next to the cinema at Westgate Mall. Forget your troubles for a couple of days and just get away from it all at Holiday Inn. If you like barbecued chicken, you'll love the chicken at Ed's Farm Kitchen in Brockton, cooked in a rotisserie with no salt, no spice, no sauce, just good chicken flavor. Ed's barbecued chicken is cooked fresh daily, 7 days a week. Their chicken has been the best for more than 40 years. Be sure also to check their refrigerator case for delicious homemade soups, turkey dinners, and pies ready to go. Ed's Farm Kitchen is open from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m., Sundays 7 to 1 on Route 27 at the Brockton-Stoughton line. Look for the chicken on the roof.
1460 WBET.
We're back and we're talking with Alfie O'Shea, the Irish entertainer from Cork City, Ireland originally, traveled all over the world and has made his home now here in Brockton. And we have some calls coming through. Good morning. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. That was a little stubborn there for a minute. Welcome to the Conversations and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. We work with Alfie at Mason's. This is Aaron and Susan, and we just called to say hi and wish him a happy Patrick's Day. Hi, Alfie.
Hi, Susan. All right, Cathy. How are you? Happy Paddy's Day.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Alfie. How are you?
Very good.
Keep the good work, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Okay.
You're lucky to have him amongst you, aren't you?
You certainly are.
Thank you for your call, Susan.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. We're at 586-1460. If anyone else would like to call and say hi to Alfie, maybe you've seen him entertain somewhere. Isn't it interesting when you are a performer, how many lives you touch and you don't realize that you're touching them by your records, by your appearances, a large audience of people out there feeling something very special from your music.
It is, Marion. It's amazing that when I go up on stage, I always even guess, when we played in I went to Brockton Rotary. I'm a member of the Brockton Rotary. And they asked last year, I said, every community should have really, their own thing really every year. And I said I'd like to do an Irish show in Brockton. And
they backed you up?
The president said, go ahead. He said, I think we would get a good house. And we got Christos too. The night was available on the 7th of March, and we put a committee together and we worked hard on it because, all the money goes to Rotary, which is donated to all the scholarships, all the good causes. And I love being a Rotarian because, it's great helping the community. And it was amazing the turnout. It was our first annual Irish Rotary now, and it was a full house. We nearly had, I think there was about 350 people.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Then we had the Irish step dancers there. We had the traditional corned beef and cabbage. And, a lot of people, some people said, listen, we don't like corned beef and cabbage, so they had a choice of fish. And it was fantastic. But, when I go up stage, it's amazing that, I always get the butterflies, but it's a feeling that you get a feeling that when you're singing, it's love. I always sing from the heart, of course, and as I said, a lot of the Irish music is poetry.
It certainly is. And when you sing from the heart, and I think you have to for Irish music. I really think you have to. In some of the pop music, you can tell the ones who do. We say, a song stylist sometimes is the phrase we use because they make it their own. They really care about the words, and others don't. And you can always tell the difference. But I think in Irish music, you almost must, or you wouldn't be singing it. Because, again, the history of every song is coming from someone's heart. And it has to touch your heart, and then you send it out touching other hearts. So it's a really wonderful gift to be able to do that.
And 'tis amazing, really, when I was really impressed that when I came over here in '85 to see how much, the interest of the Irish music. And, of course, there's a lot of Irish in Brockton, really, you know what I mean? And in Dorchester, well, of course, Dorchester and South Boston is the hometown.
Absolutely.
You could see in the parade here Sunday. A lot of people, asked. A lot of the young Irish came over here when the recession really started hitting Ireland in the around the start of 1980. Because we had, there was especially in Cork City, was really, because that's the second largest city in southern Ireland. And Dublin
is there an
is the
industry
capital.
there for people to work in?
There was, yeah. The main industry was Fords. And, Henry Ford's had a big plant there, which used to employ about 2,500 people. And then that created like a Dunlop Tire, was a next door neighbour, which employed another 2,000 people. And then, of course, all the small little businesses around that, and then the Ranks Bakery was down there. So, Cork had really, and you had Irish Steel down in Cork, and you had a great unemployment in the early 70s. The unemployment rate was really down to about 8 or 9%. And then people still going, of course, across to London. I went there, of course.
Yeah, that's closest.
Just of course, yeah. And a lot of people travel, you know what I mean? Like travelling, you can get the boat over there cheap, you know what I mean? And stay there, and if you wanted to come home, you can come home in a few hours. But America those days was far away.
It is far away.
Yeah, and I used to always, because the Irish, it's amazing, like the Irish love Americans. I mean, it's at home, like, we have a little population of 3.5 million in Ireland, and a lot of our biggest tourist is the Americans. And the Irish love the Americans because so many emigrated in the early in the early centuries, and it stopped for a while. A lot of people went to Australia.
That's true.
Went over to London, England, worked there, and then in the 80s a lot of people started going to Boston, New York, because
it's the first port you hit when you come.
It is, of course.
On a ship.
That's where a lot of songs now are wrote by songs of Ellis Island and people coming off, and the word was coming back that from Boston and New York and Chicago that there's plenty of work in America, and there was young lads coming out from college, well-educated young lads couldn't get a job. Engineers,
so
you know
sad.
what I mean? People that served their time as electricians, carpenters, and, staying at home, drawing the social welfare, we call it the dole at home, was kind of a little bit of degrading.
Oh, yes, it is.
You know
it's
what
embarrassing.
I mean?
It's degrading. And it certainly has no future.
No future. So people headed off first was a big thing, and that's why the Americans have been so great to the Irish, that, it's amazing that, the arms are opened when you come here. When I came here first, the amount of doors were open to me. I wrote back to my mother.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I wrote back to my mother and father, and they said, well, what's it like out there? I said, something? I said, the Irish are always noted for, their friendliness, and we are,
Certainly, yes.
And their warmness. But I said, we got some competition over here. I said.
Maybe we learned from you, because it is true. Everyone was so warm and gracious in Ireland when we went on trips. And of course, I had the advantage of traveling with an Irish-American husband whose grandparents had come from there, but they were still family around. They were still cousins. And I mentioned it to John McNally when we were talking on the phone the other day, that I was so touched by the phrase that old Aunt Bridie used, "Oh, you've come home, have you?"
Yeah.
Even though we'd never been there before, you've come home.
Come home.
Yes.
Now, when were you there, Marion?
1986 and 1989.
All right. Yeah. See, the recession was kind of bad then in 86.
Yes.
But when Ford's, in 1984, Ford's closed down.
Why did it close?
A lot of the, the industry went to, they opened a factory in France or in Spain, and the cheap labour.
Same old story, huh?
Yeah. And it was very sad, really. And then the unemployment rate. Then Dunlop's closed down, so it started really. Then the young Irish had nowhere to go because
5,000 people without work, right?
You had nowhere to go, and then all the people who had was living with small little businesses off that.
Certainly, because they are all restaurants and little shops around.
And
depend on them.
England was going through a hard time then, so a lot of people came over to Boston. And they came over, and that was the young Irish came over. They stormed over here. I came in 85, and a lot of people came. A couple of my friends left in 83, came back and said, Boston is great.
Have many of them gone beyond Boston and out further west? Are they likely to?
Not really. Even though there's a lot of Cork people in San Francisco.
Okay.
There's a big Irish community down in San Francisco.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of them went to Chicago.
That I can see, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody goes to Chicago. They've got
It's
everything
amazing.
there,
And New
yeah.
York is big as well. But I find that you'll find an awful lot of Cork City people, County Cork, all that area, maybe Clare, coming to Boston. It's amazing.
It's interesting when my husband's grandparents' age relatives first came over. Some came to the United States. Some went to Canada. A whole slew of them up in Quebec province in Canada. And then they intermarried with French Canadians. So there were a whole slew of French Canadian names that came in on the wedding list. I remember when we were sending out invitations, which was rather unusual. But for some reason, a batch of them landed up there and then got dispersed in many directions. But of course, that's what makes this country so interesting is the big mix we have of people. However, I want to say, you know, when you talk about running an Irish show and getting that kind of an immediate response, isn't it true that so many of the people who love the music and the whole culture of Ireland are not necessarily Irish either? They just love
not
it.
really. There's Polish.
It's just very
I married a Polish girl.
Oh, did you?
I did,
Have you any children or mongrels like mine?
Yeah, we have an 8-month-old daughter.
Oh, that's
We call
great.
her Kelsey.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Kelsey Betty.
Congratulations.
Thanks
yes.
very much. Yeah, she's a Brocktonian. All her family were raised. Her mother, our family came from Poland.
Ah. So we've got that. Well, so that's the kind of mix my children were, half Polish and half Irish. And when they really misbehaved, we'd say they had a stubborn Irish father and a stubborn Polish mother, and they were a god-awful combination of the two. So if she gets her stubborn mood, you'll know where it comes
her
from.
father's is half Irish.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh.
they told me that was a great.
A great combination.
Yes, and Mike Reed. One time when I told him I was getting married, and I asked him to be my best man, because Mike helped me out an awful lot when I came over here. He was fantastic. He says, that's a great combination, Irish and Polish, and
Well,
I
I'll
gotta
vouch
say
for
it
that.
is successful.
I'll
So
vouch for that. But it makes for wonderful stories. And speaking of stories, when you do a show, it makes me think. Well, Hal Roach does the comedy when we see the show in Juries. Tony Kenny does the singing.
Yeah.
You're a double threat. You do all of those things.
I
in
do,
the
yeah.
show, don't you? Let's listen to a little more of the music from Alfie O'Shea, and maybe when we come back, he'll be willing to tell us one of his Irish stories.
If you'd like to update your kitchen without the time and expense of new custom-built cabinets, you can with Sears Cabinet Refacing. Call the Sears Cabinet Refacing Express line now at 1-800-821-5200 for a free in-home estimate and enjoy no payments for 6 months. You'll also receive a free 8-piece Pyrex cookware set with your estimate. Installing new cabinets can take weeks, but Sears Cabinet Refacing usually takes just 3 days from the time work begins. 3 days to make your tired, outdated cabinets fashionably new again at a fraction of the cost. So discover how easy it is to modernize your kitchen. Call for your free in-home estimate at 1-800-821-5200. Enjoy no payments for 6 months and free Pyrex cookware with your estimate. Offer ends on April 30th. Several restrictions apply. Ask your Sears Cabinet Refacing consultant for details. Call the Sears Cabinet Refacing Express line now. 1-800-821-5200. That's 1-800-821-5200.
The Cape Way Manor in Brockton has been a respected name in dining for more than 40 years in the elegance of their beautiful, spacious dining room or the casual atmosphere of the Rathskeller. Enjoy dinner for two Sunday through Thursday for $14.95. There's a magnificent Sunday afternoon buffet, all you can eat for just $8.95. There's dancing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the Starlight Lounge and several function rooms for your special events. Everything you could possibly want from a restaurant awaits you at the Cape Way Manor, 1507 Main Street in Brockton.
For the lowest prices on everyday needs for your family, shop Jake's Pharmacy Emporium in Brockton. Jake's is a complete pharmacy with discount prescriptions. You'll save on health and beauty care, cosmetics, household needs, and more. Their everyday low-color film processing starts at $1.77 a roll. Designer fragrances are sold at discount prices. Names like Giorgio, Polo, Chanel, Opium, Shares Unlimited, and more. Jake's new discount tables offer sensational closeout values. For deep discounts on whatever you need, visit Jake's Pharmacy Emporium, 593 Center Street, Brockton.
Of my hometown, the place I'd like to be, to meet the friends that I once knew, the folks who still love me. It wanders through my mind at night when I have gone to sleep. And I oil, that old cocaine, the pleasant way that people smile at me. But most of all, I can recall the grand old Rivoli, Cork City on the Lee, the only place for me. And though I've roamed, I've always known it's the only home for me. To all the lads far overseas, I know your heart still swell when late at night, deep in your dreams, you hear the Shandon bells. I hear them say, Emile Lafoyle is red and white for me. So raise your glass and sing with me, Cork City on the Lee. Cork City on the Lee, the only place for me. And though I've roamed, I've always known it's the only home for me. Cork City on the Lee, the only place for me. And though I've roamed, I've always known it's the only home for me.
We're back. We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day with Alfie O'Shea. We feel very fortunate to have this real bit of Ireland with us this morning. And Alf, was that March 7th of this year that you had the Irish party?
Yeah, that's right, at
Just a few
Christmas
weeks
too.
ago, just
Yeah.
a week or so ago, really. Today's
That's
on the
all, yeah,
17th.
a week from last
10
Saturday.
days ago, to be exact, and a wonderful output. How young were you when you started performing in Ireland? It seems like almost everybody sings there, so...
They do, it's amazing. When I brought my wife back in 89, we got married in 88 and we went back home in 89, and she couldn't believe that everybody, all my family and friends came to the airport, and she was
They were
delighted.
ready and waiting
You know,
to
they had
greet
a big huge cake and welcome, welcome home, and it was great, very touching. And she was amazed that when we were inside the local pub, you know, with the session start, see, a lot of the local pubs are like living rooms, because they have big couches, and that is the centre of socialising. In
It's
Ireland.
not as people, when they think about pubs as being bars where people go to drink. It isn't that. It's a social gathering
It's a
place.
social gathering. If you always see, when you go to Ireland, as you probably know yourself, Marion, when you go in, there's always there's a bar, and then next door to it, there's the lounge. You
Very
know what I mean?
comfortable, very
Where
relaxing.
you can have a spot of lunch or dinner there, and then people go into the
Wonderful
bar.
lunches and wonderful soups, I remember. And,
That's right.
Yeah.
And people go into the bar, then they can play the darts, and in the
And
evening.
just have a
then-
reason for conversation.
Right.
And sooner or later, even if there's entertainment in the pub, everyone is joining in eventually. I mean, sooner or later, everyone's going to be singing along.
That's right.
Right?
And someone will say, Jimmy, give us a song there. Or Marion gives us a song. And everybody stands up and sings. And, that's where I think that's where we really came from, was from our music. And everyone comes,
And it didn't change when television came in like it did here. We used to have, gatherings of friends in the home to sit around and have conversation, a little bit of food, as you say. And then the television set came along, and everybody sat down and
That's
stuck
right.
their eyes in front of the TV, and there's
It's
no talk,
amazing.
and there's no conversation, and there's no interaction anymore. So I think it's much nicer to know that after dinner you can go out for a little while to the pub and see your friends and enjoy a little
Yeah,
music.
it's a social gathering. Like
Whether you're going to drink or not, they can go.
every local community has this local pub where they'd go. They could walk down. You know what I mean? The pubs close at home, believe it or not, or in the winter time at 11 o'clock.
That's what I was going to remind people about, because that's surprising. They think, again, here they stay open until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and people complain about that being, a chance to drink. But there, I know many of the nights when we were at a convention in Dublin, one of the times, and the evening affair, the dinner and the festivities going on with the dinner, we'd be saying, hurry up, so we can get to a pub for a little while and enjoy the atmosphere, because it closes at 11 o'clock.
That's right, yeah. You'll always get the
Everyone
last.
goes home bright and early.
Yeah, it's amazing. And where you get it, it's amazing where you'll always get, where I used to get a lot of them, of the Irish stories.
Oh, yes.
And Hal
There are a
Roach.
million of them.
There's a million of them. And there's one particular, seems that it's appropriate, seems that it's Paddy's Day. that these two Irish farmers, I always call them Dinny and Benji, and they were out on their farm St. Patrick's morning. So Benji says to Dinny, he says, Dinny, since that's St. Patrick's Day, why don't we finish up early and celebrate it? Oh, Dinny says, what a great idea, Benji. You know, he says, let's go up to, Benji said, let's go up to Jancy's pub. And Dinny said, I've only got one little problem, Benji. He said, what about my ass? And he says, why don't you bring your ass up to the local pub with you? He said, I'm sure Janty wouldn't mind your ass tied outside the pub for a few hours. Says Dinny, said, what a great idea. So Dinny and Benji headed off up. Dinny brought his ass up to the pub. They went in, they had a couple of pints, as they say at home, 15 or 20 pints. couple of bottles of whiskey to wash it down, as they say. And you got to visualise that. Dinny was a very small guy, but he was as tough as nails, and everybody knew that he wasn't afraid of nothing. So after they had a great time inside, at 9 o'clock that night, Dinny said to Benji, well, Benji, happy Paddy's Day, I'll be off now. So he goes out to get his ass. And Lord and behold, wasn't his ass painted green? So Dinny, of course, was furious when he saw his ass painted green. So he stormed back into the pub. He slapped the counter, and everybody knew. You could hear a pin drop. They knew Dinny was furious. He said, I want the man down here right now who painted my ass green. And there was silence in the pub. And this appeared from nowhere was a massive mountain man. As old Hal Roach used to say at home, he must have been about 7'13". And he came down and he slapped the counter and he looked down at Dinny and he says, I'm the man that painted your ass green. So Dinny looked up at him and he says, I just want to tell you, sir, that the first coat is dry.
He was not only brave, he was smart. He knew how to handle situations.
That's an old story.
Oh,
you hear that
goodness.
on the television at home and Paddy's Day, and it's a fun story. Everybody tells
It's
it.
wonderful. And there, as I said, there are so many stories, the likes of Hal Roach, and there are a few others that travel around to can just tell them by the hour. And the nice part about them, as we've said in the past, is that they're all jokes you can tell to the whole family.
Clean,
They're clean jokes.
Yeah. It's just,
I know when the shows come here, and there's a comedian in the bunch, you can have the good fathers, the priests, and the sisters
Everybody,
in the audience. Everyone is having a wonderful
but they
time.
wouldn't allow, that's why the stand-up comedy would never go down in Ireland.
Not the kind that we get here. Not the kind that we get here.
Yeah, because that's why you had the Hal Roach. And really, it's nice because all ages can laugh at a good, clean joke.
And enjoy the wit, which is
wit of it,
which is the main point. Anybody can use obscene words. That doesn't take any talent.
No,
it really doesn't.
And that's why a lot of them, have you been to the Jury's Cabaret
Yes.
show in Dublin?
Yes.
That is an excellent.
A wonderful show, absolutely wonderful show. And bits and pieces, I said, have come here in the years. I'm so sorry that other show, but I'm glad you produced one for this year. And next year, let us talk about it ahead of time so we'll all know to go.
We're going to do it an annual, every annual, and I think it's going to be a sellout. And, it's like to see, I met Tony Kenny down in the Cornish Park in Plymouth last, the 7th, the Saturday afternoon. They asked us would we do a live show there.
Yes.
WROL was down there, and they were doing a live show because they do a show every Saturday.
That's right,
Irish.
all afternoon.
And I was talking to Kenny, and he says to me, I was very, he says, I always loved, he says, playing in Brockton because he used to play in the high school.
Sure, I remember
And
seeing
that
there one year.
auditorium is beautiful.
It's a beautiful auditorium.
Oh,
Absolutely
everybody.
gorgeous.
Paddy Noonan played last year.
Carmel Quinn was with them one year because I talked to Carmel Quinn when they brought her in to be in the show one of the years. And just everybody at some point or another have been involved there. Hal Roach has come in a couple of times.
And I think this year, Marion, you're going to find an awful lot of people going to the Irish Cultural Festival in Stonehill College.
Oh, when's that going to be?
That's going to be on June the 11th, 12th and 13th. It's going to be 3 days of
fun.
We
Out on the grounds?
We start on the grounds. Last year there was about 40,000 people came for the tree.
Wow.
They had big Clancy Brothers were there. This year they're going to have the Chieftains, which is one of the best. Every time they come to Boston, it's the sellout.
They're the authentic.
They are, yeah.
The authentic. I've talked to all of them. I've talked to the Roars. I've talked to the Clancys. I've talked to the Chieftains. But they have not only the original music, but the original instruments.
Oh, everything.
Everything.
And I mean, most of the great movies that came out, they
They're
wrote
the ones
the music
providing
for
music.
it. Yeah.
That's right.
They're going to be there this year. I'm going to be there. I done history last year. We were the first band to open the cultural, and it was a fantastic success. Of course, first night started raining out of the heavens, but hopefully weather permitting this year. Even though Saturday and Sunday last year was excellent. I mean, it's a great family day out. There's so much to do there.
You have all the people come in with the beautiful Irish crafts to buy, and
you have
things,
you have a big
to see,
a big shopping centre there that everybody goes in there for the weekend. It's all done. There's about 40 different Irish bands playing.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Local bands, yeah, and then you have the Clancy Brothers, and there's a new upcoming group called Goats Don't Shave.
Really?
And,
that's why they all have little goatees. Okay.
And they brought out a new song. It's an upbeat song. It's like a kind of a American kind of Irish song. And this the name of the song is that they want to bring Las Vegas to the hills of Donegal.
Oh dear.
And they say that they want to put a wall up outside Donegal, and there's one going cheap in Germany.
How true. That's another beautiful area, the seacoast area of Ireland.
It is, yeah.
For when we think of it as small compared to the United States, but what a contrasting, wonderful landscape there is there.
There is.
With the seacoast and the hills and the green fields and the wild coasts of Kerry, the Ring of Kerry area where it's just...
that's storytelling itself. Like
majestic wildness and beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah. And, a lot of people now are going over with the idea, like my mother-in-law and father-in-law, some friends are going over this year, I think, in September, and I was telling him, the big idea now is the guest houses.
Mm-hmm. Much better.
Very cheap, as you've been there. You got a great breakfast. You get your own key, so you can go out, and you get the Irish humour in the morning.
Yes.
It's the personal touch.
Anyone that's done it here and can't tell what it's like there, because that's a very special way it's handled in Ireland. You feel as if you're the hospitality of the host. You're like guest in someone's home, and yet you have all the privacy, you say, and the personal touch to it. And we had wonderful experiences with everything from little private homes to big homes that had once been a rectory.
Yes.
Once been something else. We were in Primrose Grange in Sligo that had been a big country house where a boys' school had been. And was on the side of a hill with the most magnificent view all around it, and Knocknaree behind it. We climbed Mount Knocknaree the next morning to see the grave of Queen Maeve. And you just wouldn't do this if you were in town in a big hotel.
You wouldn't.
You don't have the same experience at all. Stop in a little store and pick up things for a picnic lunch, and then go out to Sligo and see the grave sites of the Celtic Druids.
And as you said, my wife, when we went over there, you've been down there as when you come out of Shannon Airport and all the small little roads, and we came into a big traffic jam, and my wife said, "What's up?" Because my father picked us up, and it's amazing. We laughed at it. Really, is that I was explaining to say that all the cows, the farmers are bringing the cows, as you know.
You're never going to go
got
too
the
fast
right
to meet
away.
the cows or the sheep or the donkeys on the road or the chickens or the geese. They have the right of way. We'll be back after a final break. Stay with us.
It's me.
Me who?
Choice number 22.
Choice.
Uh-huh. And you're going to choose a new AT&T cordless phone here or AT&T answering system over here at Sears Brand Central.
I don't know.
You see, right now you can bring in any old phone to Sears and get $10 off your choice of a great new AT&T cordless phone or AT&T answering system. Your trade-in could get you an AT&T remote answering system 1504 with built-in phone for just $79.99 through March 21st.
Amazing.
Details at Sears Brand Central. Count on AT&T and Sears Brand Central to bring you great values.
You're a tough choice.
Well, I've been working out.
Some days, even your job will give you cold feet.
And now, the amazing Larry will dive 400 meters into a glass of lemonade. Ready, Larry? Larry?
But buy a Whirlpool appliance today and you'll get cold cash. Yes, during Whirlpool's cold cash back sale, buy a selected Quiet Wash Plus dishwasher and get up to $50 in cold cash back. A great reason to sneak out of work.
Larry?
Whirlpool's cold cash back sale. See a participating dealer for details.
Many people who are losing their hearing won't even consider something that could help them. Why? Because they have a lot of outdated notions about hearing aids and who wears them. Miracle Ear wants you to know that anyone, young or old, can experience hearing loss. If your vision declines, you get glasses, right? And if you're self-conscious about glasses, you get contact lenses. Well, Miracle Ear is to hearing aids what contacts are to glasses. Advanced Miracle Ear microtechnology creates a hearing instrument so small it practically hides in your ear canal. I'd like you to receive a fact-filled booklet on how you may be helped by Miracle Ear's Tiny Wonder. Just call 1-800-382-9800. That's 1-800-382-9800. The call and the booklet are free, and there's no obligation. Call 1-800-382-9800 right now. Miracle Ear Centers, a tradition of helping people listen to life again.
WBET.
We're back. We're talking with Alfie O'Shea about St. Patrick's Day, about things Irish, about Ireland itself, because, of course, Alfie is from Cork City originally and now living here in Brockton, married to a Polish wife. I mean, we have great rapport here now.
That's
That
right.
Polish-Irish mix is very special, and it produces very special, beautiful children, as you already know with your little daughter. Good morning. You're in Conversations. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to you, too. And I would like to ask Alfie if he could tell me exactly, if I went to Ireland, where I would have to go to the Isle of Innisfree. I think it's the most beautiful song, and I want to go to the Isle of Innisfree.
Yeah, it is beautiful up there. That's up in the east coast. It's beautiful. It's you can go from both ends really. You can go from the Galway area, which a lot of people do that route. But if you wanted to go, if you just wanted to go straight there, a lot of people would go from Shannon to Dublin, and you can go from it around that area. But I think the best route you would go to would be, if you had done the scenic route, like the Galway and Connemara and that way. You can run right into it then.
Somebody told me that you have to go up near Sligo to Lough Gill and take a boat from Lough Gill.
Lough Gill.
Lough Gill, yeah.
Yes, I was going to say we were in. No, I was just telling. I learned how to pronounce it there, but I didn't before. That's the lake. That's the word for
that's
lake.
right, yeah.
In Celtic.
Well, people.
There's an island there. Well, that's
right. Yeah, you can get the boat over, but a lot of people, they go from if they're doing the tour. If they're doing 2 or 3 weeks, they would spend it down in Munster area, like the Clare or them County Cork, Kerry, and then they would go to Clare, get the boat over from Kerry to Clare, then go up to Galway, and then go to Sligo, and then you can go to, you go to Innisfree then with the boat over. It is beautiful. It's a small.
We could see it from the
place.
shore of Sligo, I remember.
And a Clare there,
when we
but
had
of
the
course.
picnic lunches I was talking about, we could see, because that's the area where the poet was born, Keats.
Keats, yeah.
That whole area is
but
Keats.
most of the time, when you get the mist coming through there in the Sligo, you can't see it. But on a real clear day, it's beautiful.
Last year I went to Ireland the very first time. I'm afraid of heights, but I had no trouble on the plane. And I went to Dublin on Grafton Street, and that was something to be desired.
Oh,
yes. Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, it's a very busy street, isn't it?
I know it.
That's why I say such a contrast from the busyness of a Dublin street to the countryside of Sligo.
That's true, Marion, because Grafton Street years ago was a two-way street driving the cars down, and there was so many people coming down, and that they just done away with it, made it all pedestrianised. And that's why it's really.
And now it's easier to do. It's like
and you run right into Trinity College there.
Yes, and the Green and St. Stephen's Church.
A pony ride with a pony wagon.
Yes.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Went for a whole hour. I think I deserved it after 6 hours of walking around.
You certainly did. You certainly do. And isn't that a lovely experience, though? In the what do they call it, the touring car?
Yeah,
the touring car.
And they'll give you the blanket when it's a little bit windy, to put it over.
And tell you all the stories of everything you're passing, even the kinds of trees you're passing, and such.
And they even stop if you want to take pictures. This year again in September.
Oh, good for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I hope you enjoy.
Where are you going
it.
this time? Do you know?
Pardon?
Where are you going to go this time?
I'm going to Dublin, but I'm trying to think of coming back through county. I did stay at Dublin and Shannon and Limerick.
Limerick.
Right. Yeah. Have you been down to Kerry?
No, but like you said, the cows and the sheep.
Yeah.
And when you see them out in the fields and they're laying down, that's rush hour in Ireland.
I love it.
It certainly is. Well, you must go up and see Connemara and Sligo if you haven't this time, because they're very special. They're very beautiful. It all is, but I mean, you see different tastes to it. Thanks for sharing that with us this morning.
Happy Paddy's Day to you.
Have a wonderful day and a wonderful trip. Thank you. Bye-bye now. We're at 586-1460 if you'd like to share some Irish memories with Alfie O'Shea. It's true, whatever background, whatever national background you might have, a trip to Ireland is unforgettable.
It is.
And I looked forward so eagerly to the 40 Shades of Green they talked about, and it's true. There are 40 Shades of Green when you look along the sides.
Johnny Cash brought that song out, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's amazing. It's a pity, really. I mean, when I came over here in '85, Marion, the dollar was on par with the pound. I think it was 99 cents. And now when you go back, I think it's 160 now.
Yeah.
Our pound is valued once...
$1.60.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is, when you're changing over the money, it's a lot of money. I mean,
you suddenly see it disappear. It disappears out of your hand.
Oh,
as you transfer.
$1,000 is the same value in Ireland. I mean, £1,000 is like $1,000 here. And then when you exchange it, it's only like £600 in Ireland.
That's right. That's right.
And Ireland can be a little, the drinks are the same price, really. And the
food is
hotels.
wonderful, despite the thought that it was just corned beef and cabbage or a few other Irish things. But there's some wonderful gourmet foods. And I said the soups are absolutely out of this
world. The vegetables, yeah.
The vegetables are so fresh. Good morning. You're on Conversations. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I have an amusing story to share with you.
Good.
My mother was a Donegal woman, and I went home to bury her 2 years ago to Dublin. She was living in Dublin. And we travelled all the way to Donegal, and on the way up, the hearse stopped at the pub for lunch. My mother was sitting in the parking lot. My mother had a wonderful sense of humour.
She would have loved it, right?
They flew through the narrow streets. They scared the life out of us. Hearse flew all the way to Donegal.
That's a ride. I did exactly that ride from Dublin to Donegal on the second trip because we were bound and determined to see Donegal on the seacoast this time, not having done it the first time. Right. And that is a long road, a long way on little narrow roads.
But they stopped at the pub and had a pub lunch. We went in, and my poor mother sitting in the parking lot. Just Irish humour,
They take the things for granted, right? Just take certain things in stride, including that.
Oh yes, yes.
Well, nice to have a little humorous memory of something sad.
There is, yeah.
Yes, and I know O'Connell Street and Afton Street and all those streets very well.
Oh, good.
It's worth a trip to Ireland. I love Ireland. I grew up half my life in Ireland and half in Scotland.
Did you?
Oh.
And we were all the aunt sent all the children for the summer to Ireland from Scotland.
Oh, how nice.
Whoever was going to call the children in the boat. On the boat with the cattle boats. I've been that route.
What a wonderful experience to have all that in your background.
Oh, yes.
So today is special for you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling.
Bye-bye.
Happy Paddy's Day.
Bye-bye now. Everyone has wonderful memories to share of that. And I must say, too, speaking of the main streets in Dublin and the shopping area, there's a wonderful shop there that specializes in the coats of arms and the family crests, not only for Irish, but for all national groups. Like Harold's Unlimited, I forgot what the name of it is. But the first time we got the Irish crest, but they even had the Polish. They would look it up, and if there was a coat of arms for the name, and there happened to be for my family
I think
name.
that's Switzer's. I might be wrong now.
Can't be right on the main street. There's a place right nearby that has the brass door knockers called Knobs and Knockers or something like that we chuckled at.
All right.
And then the little it's a very small place, but they have all the background, all the reference books, and they can find the crest for every nationality if one exists for your name. And we'll create it and frame it.
Of course, yeah.
Which was wonderful.
When I go home, really, I wouldn't do much traveling because.
No, you wouldn't. Why should you? Stay home and relax. Alfie, where are you appearing next?
We're appearing tonight down in a country club. I think the Segregazzza Country Club, they call it. We're playing there tonight.
And where is that? In
Taunton.
In Taunton, okay.
Yeah, but I think it's sold out.
Okay, too bad. Yeah. Well, and after that?
But after that, that's my last show
for this year. Be sure and keep us posted next year before the Rotarian show in enough time. Maybe you can come in and chat about what will be happening, and then everyone will know.
We'll be delighted. Thanks.
Thank you so much, and a very special St. Patrick's Day to you.
And to you too.
God bless. We'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of Conversation. Stephen and Tasha will be with us. Thanks for listening, and bye now.
You're listening to Full Service Radio for Metro South, WBET 1460 in Brockton. The time is 12 noon. Here's the news from CNN.